Zenless Zone 02.3 is coming, and god, we got a lot to cover. Like game dev unroaching out the Eternal from the under and changed it to the upper valley regarding to Lucia's skin, solidifying the Sweetly identity, the pronunciation of the new characters, and we will go over their meaning, cause I'm actually a native Chinese speaker. We will also go over the pool decision, and we will go over the Vivian skin. I just got impressed over and over on their creativities making a characters hot without showing a loss of skin. Like the first glance I look into this Vivian skin, I saw she wear nothing. I saw she's wearing one of those slingshot, and we will never ever get away from the Gunner allegation. This is basically the nail to the coffin. So let's go over the pronunciation, but before that, I'm gonna say that if you spelled it wrong or you decide to speak it in English pronunciation, you will offend absolutely nobody who speaks native Chinese. Maybe it would offend some college student in the West, but not us. I don't think these people are doing anything positive. I think they're just enjoying policing other people. And it's not like we could say the English name correctly. Like we basically call Tom Cruise 汤姆克鲁斯, and we call this guy 里奥纳多迪卡皮欧. And I don't think you guys would be offended by this. Just don't ever feel guilty when you're saying it wrong. And if you take the pronunciation seriously, you could take a look at my mouth shape and try to mimic it. So let's go over the first character, Dailyn. Liu In. Liu In. So the first word means lapis lazuli, a kind of gemstone. So the second word in, it means sound. So the two words combined together, it means the beautiful sound that resembles the lapis. So we could expect that her skill and combat style has something to do with the sound. And not gonna lie, I think she looks like a VTuber. The next character, Zhao. So in Chinese, it's pronounced as Zhao. Zhao is a pretty common word. It generally means shining on something, like the sun shine into the window. But I think in this context, it's gonna be more of a religious meaning. It could mean self-reflection. It could also mean looking at the truth behind the appearance of something that could be deceiving. It does get quite philosophic. So the next one is Banyue. They just rip off the Zenyatta from Overwatch and give him the body of Arnold Schwarzenegger. And this is how we pronounce it. Banyue. Banyue. So in this context, Ban means universal wisdom and Yue means mountain. And these two words put together, it means the levels of wisdom that is as high as a mountain. So I think we could anticipate that he's gonna be extremely intelligent, and every time when he says something, it's gonna be the word of wisdom. And the last but not least, Shunguang. I don't know how to say it in English, but this is how we pronounce it. Shunguang. Shunguang. So the first word is family name. It literally means leaf, as the one on the trees. It is not the most common family name, but I do have a friend with this family name, so it's not exactly a fictional family name. And Shun means instant, a blink of an eye, and Guang means light. So her name is actually a flash of light. So I do think the name already hint that she's gonna be a really fast character who mastery in the speed. And I do think she's probably a void hunter. And I think every void hunter represents something. Like if Miyabi represents the mastery of the skill, then Yixuan is the mastery of power, and Shunguang would probably be the master of the speed. and I think we could expect a really sick animation from her. People say she actually looks like Hu Tao, or maybe Spark from Honkai Star Rail. And the blade that she's carrying looks like the one with the blade from Honkai Star Rail. And I like how they designed the hair. Like this big chunks of hair is actually an ear, just like some of the early design in Genshin on the Yae Miko and the Sucrose. The ear that looks like part of the hair. I think she's looking really good and definitely gonna pull for her. You could even see her tail wiggling there. That also explains why her hair looks that way. A good old design being reused in the right way. Should you get 180 pull for the Vivian skin? Definitely not. Definitely don't pull anything outside of your plan. I think there will be pretty good amounts of people fall for it. So do stay strong and wait for it to be available at the 2.5 in the store, cause the event gonna last for 80 days. So it's not exactly impossible to get it without jeopardizing your plan. And the reason they came out with this event is that I think they try to burn out your pools so that when they comes up with another Void Hunter, you wouldn't have enough pool for her, like the Ye Shunguang, so that you are more likely to swipe your credit card to get her. And I think lots of people could tell it. So do expect that Void Hunter gonna be out at 2.5 or 2.6, depends on how egregious they are. If they're really greedy, it's gonna be out at 2.5, and if they're not, it's gonna be at 2.6. So do save up for her and her signature. And since we got an Anomaly Void Hunter, a Rupture Void Hunter, I think this one could realistically be an attacker's Void Hunter. And of course, this is just my guess. And now let's moving on to the pool decision. Starting from Lucia, the first dedicated S-rank support for the Rupture class. You could figure that her playstyle gonna be like Jufufu or even Trigger, but probably not as off-field as Astra Yao. She gonna give a loss of damage buff and also maximum HP, but you wouldn't really wanna expect her to be performing optimally without the Rupture agent. She could be doing fine with any other team just like the Yusuha. And of course, she got the Sheer Force buff, that's why she's a Rupture class support, and it is based off her maximum HP. The best force set is definitely the Moonlight set. You wanna get as much HP as possible, and definitely the energy, so go with the 2-piece Swing Jazz. And you wanna have the HP percentage as your main stat for the disc number 4 and 5. For disc number 6, my guess is probably gonna be the energy regen, but it could also be HP percentage. So back when I was testing Astra Yao, getting as much energy as possible is significantly more important than reaching the attack buff threshold. And I think Lucia could be the same case. If you don't have Yixuan or you don't plan to pull for the Rupture class like Yidhari, you don't really want to pull for her. But if she's your waifu, you should really get her a Rupture to play along with. And let's move on to the Yidhari. This is the post that I saw the other day from Resi. Cake is a cake even if it has a candle. But to be honest, I think all the jiggling physics in the Zenless Zone Zero ain't actually necessary. I think they are mandatory. If you disagree with me, just unsub and get out. Cause without them, I'm not gonna survive. She's a pretty interesting character. She also shares the same characteristic just like Yixuan. The more HP you got, the more sheer force you're gonna have. And this one is pretty interesting. The lower the HP, the higher the attacks. And every time when she consumes her HP, her decibel would increase, and she would have damage reduction when her HP is down to a certain point. So you do have an extra layer of protection, but not from me! Her basic attack tree would recover her HP, and she could also do the enhanced basic attack, just like Miyabi and Owlus, and it would consume your HP, and when you are charging, you could guard the attacks. A pretty high risk, high reward playstyle. I think she's gonna be fun. But when you're pulling for her, you really wanna get Lucia to play along with, or maybe at least a Mindscape 2 Panda, or I think you're gonna have a pretty bad time playing her. So I do think that the pull decision in this meta is actually pretty simple. And as for Vivian, I don't really consider her as a must pull, but she's still pretty strong, and you do want to consider getting her signature. You could see about roughly 15% of improvement, and you would see the most value when you play her with any other anomaly, especially Miyabi, Alice, and Yanagi. And as for Jufufu, if you already have Trigger and Qingyi to pair with Yixuan, then I think she's not exactly a must pull, and Yixuan without the stunner would be losing a lot of damage, so generally you wanna pull Jufufu for the Yixuan. But Lucia is also like right in the corner, and I would prioritize the Lucia before the Jufufu. So yeah, I guess that's pretty much it, and see ya guys, man.